Okay, let's do this thing. Now, I want to start by talking about the basic principle that drives my information processing. We talked about how I go about getting, uh, information production, content production. And it all begins with this classic book by David Allen called Getting Things Done. David Allen has some basic principles that can be applied to email or any other aspect of social media or life itself. And I'm surprised how many people, actually, I'm not surprised, but many people have never even heard of this book, let alone read it. If I could give you the 30-second summary for getting things done, it would be this diagram that appears in chapter 2. This is a process for organizing the stuff that comes into our life and turning it into a manageable workflow, giving us questions that we can ask at every step along the way. So stuff or information comes into our in basket. And David says that you should have as many in baskets or inboxes as you need and not a single one more. So I advocate having two different inboxes, one for email, one for people, and one for information. Okay? One for individuals and one for information. So the one that I recommend for individuals is Gmail and Outlook if you have to use it. But the tool that I recommend for information is Feedly. So stuff comes in and we flip through, as you saw me do on the iPod Touch, we flip through information and we ask, what is it? And quickly we make a decision. Is it actionable? If it is actionable, then we ask ourselves, what's the next action? Is it part of a project? Then it goes into a planning loop. But if I can do something in 2 minutes or less, I should do it. If I can delegate it, I can do it. If I can defer it, I should do it. So in my process that I just showed you, what I'm doing basically is that I deferred that content processing until my magic hour when I'm doing content marketing first thing in the day. So more often than not, I'm deferring it, but we're going to apply the same thought process to social media now using Feedly. And this is how I look at social media. I start with a brand strategy, who I am. I ask myself the question, how do I want to be found? For what do I want to be found? If I'm the answer, what are the questions? And then I go from there. So based on that, there are certain websites that whose content I should consume every day. Certain searches for my subject matter expertise, again, that I should read every day. Certain sources, experts that I should track, and someday maybe information that I should store. The container for all of this is Feedly. And based on David Allen's diagram, I give myself three options. I ask myself, is the content actionable in my content marketing world? If not, then I go on to the next post in Feedly and I continue this loop until I find some content that's worth sharing. And then I have only two questions to ask myself. Is it bloggable or should I share it via Google+? Either way, even if I create a blog post, I'm going to share it via Google+. So ultimately everything ends up here. Now that it's in Google+, I use a auto-scheduling tool called Friends Plus Me that can take my content and post it to a Facebook page, to a LinkedIn profile, or to Twitter. And then on the back end, I've got a great tool called Rebel Mouse that aggregates all the content that I produce in social media and builds a live stream on my website like this. So basically, everything that I produce in social media ends up in this Rebel Mouse live stream. Okay, I can put up to 25 different sources of content. And yeah, it's a mess. But these are all the things that I'm interested in and that I thought were shareable. And they all end up in one place. And just want to point out here too, your website doesn't have to be like uber complicated. It just needs to be a place where you can aggregate content and that's searchable so that people know who you are by looking at your content. We call that social proof. Okay, that's an overview. I'm going to stop here before I move on.